Hello, good afternoon. It's time for The Marketplace. I'm Charles Ayete. Here are the stories coming up this hour. The World Bank country director has ruled out that Ghana could be flipping into debt distress status despite the current challenges. Also, we take a trip to the United States to interact with the Ghanaian business community as remittance plunge due to COVID-19. And of course, as the world commemorates Global Entrepreneurs Week, we have an honest discussion on the state of entrepreneurship in Ghana and the world over. I'm Charles Ayete. We have all these stories coming up after this break. Hello and welcome. The Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta has indicated that government is planning to use the 100 billion cedi Ghana Cares program to facilitate economic recovery post-COVID-19. Now, the initiative, which is expected to fully take off from next year, will, among other things, commercialize agriculture, industrialize the economy, and also make Ghana a hub for goods and services. Mr. Ofori-Atta spoke with Joy Business after the launch of the program here in Accra.
Significant day for us as a country. This is an investment to the tune of 100 billion Ghana cedis, which is a quarter of our GDP. I think never in our history has any government had the vision and audacity to have such a proclamation. We expect that to, God willing, in the next administration, to truly launch that as a way of transforming the country and creating Ghana as a regional hub for industry, for agriculture, for logistics, for financial services, etc. Well, I mean, we come back to the issue of the 2 fish and 5 loaves, and what is the multiplier effect when the people have spirit and resilience? What we are expecting is that 30 billion will be from the public sector and 70 billion from the private sector, which will require strong partnerships around the world and creating Ghana as really the commercial center for Africa. We'll be able to do that. I'm not sure it's accessing the program in terms of the money. On the private sector part, that is getting partnership, FDIs, etc., for that to happen. On the government part is increased revenue mobilization in whichever way we can have it, and using those resources to support an economic framework that is supportive, especially of indigenous enterprises.
And that was the Finance Minister there on the Ghana Cares program. Away from that, remittance to Ghana will reduce by close to 40% this year as COVID-19 continues to ravage world economies. Now, data from the International Labour Organization reveals that close to 1 million jobs have so far been lost to the virus globally. Today, we turn our attention to the Ghanaian businesses in the U.S. as the president of the Brooklyn Ghana Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Randy Pierce, as well as Jerry Kwabena Adinkra, the Brooklyn Ambassador Office of the Brooklyn Borough President, who also doubles as Executive Director of the Ghanaian American Heritage and Culture, joins us via Zoom for this extensive discussion. So I want to start off with you, the President of the Brooklyn Chamber. We're so grateful that you joined us. First of all, what will be the next phase of trade between Ghana and the United States under the Brooklyn Chamber?
Good afternoon, and thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be with you today. We have a long-lasting relationship in terms of trade with Ghana. I think before COVID, it was about a $1.8 billion trade relationship. Ghana's economy had been expanding rapidly, and there was quite a bit of interest in investment in Ghana itself. Also here in the United States, obviously, you have a strong Ghanaian community of immigrants that have started businesses and that are part of the local economy, particularly here in Brooklyn. In fact, there's probably about 50,000 Ghanaians who live in Brooklyn. So we were looking to strengthen that trade relationship. And in fact, the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce was working with Jerry and the Ghanaian Chamber of Commerce in order to create a trade mission. We wanted to do that this past fall. Obviously, we cannot, but we will get back on track, I believe, as soon as we beat this virus and we get a vaccine. So from our perspective, this is a challenge. COVID has become a challenge in many respects, but I think we can get the trade relationship back online, and I think we can continue to grow our trade relationship with Ghana.
Randy, it's interesting you mentioned COVID-19 because we do know in the United States, for instance, the knife-edge elections, between Trump and, Joe Biden means a big deal for Ghanaians living in the States, including Africans. How does a Biden win brighten the prospect of trade agreements back home?
I mean, I think it's a positive for our long-term relationship. I think President Biden, or President-elect Biden, is much more open to international engagement. I think that includes on the trade front. And I believe that the relationship had been strong prior to this election, and I think it will just strengthen as we transition into a new administration here in the United States. So I'm very positive and very bullish on expanded trade under a Biden administration.
Great. I believe we have Jerry also on the line. Jerry, if you could hear me, you've been engaging Ghanaian businesses time on and time off. COVID-19 has struck. What exactly are they telling you?
Thank you so much, Mr. Charles Aite. Can you hear me?
You're loud and clear.
Thank you so much. For bringing us on such a great program. Yes, the COVID-19 has been very disastrous, as we all know. As you know, the president of Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Randy, has already said. We have a couple of Ghanaian businesses in Brooklyn, to be specific, the African market, the African restaurants, those that they are into doctor's office and stuff like that, talking to them, meeting them, encouraging them, and even talking to Ghanaian community to go and support them. And I think it's almost a month ago when Mr. Randy embarked on his, black businesses in Brooklyn,
sure.
To be specific, Flatbush. I was so glad I could see the kind of leadership he has. And so many times he has been reaching out to me, Jerry, do you have any Ghanaian businesses that the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce can support?
I can imagine. Wow. I can imagine that.
Yeah.
But for anyone out there seeking to relocate to the U.S. and start a business, you've been there for quite a while now. What advice do you have to give them amidst COVID-19?
Relocating to do business in the U.S. now, regards to where we are, our demographics, the rent are very high. And now businesses are idle globally, not even in Brooklyn. And the rent in Brooklyn is very expensive. And those with good money, they have a program called Ye5, if I'm not wrong. Those that they want to invest. If you have that kind of money, I think it's range around $300,000 to $500,000. So when you come, they give you your documentation right there as an investor. So these are some of the conversation that I'm having with Randy in regards to trade mission.
Interesting.
Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce, and
Interesting. If I could bring in Randy shortly. Randy, these are unusual times, and definitely we do know that it's definitely going to impact on remittances, not just from the U.S., but across other economies around the world. What is the case of the U.S., especially within the Brooklyn Chamber, when it comes to remittances to Ghana?
Yeah, so I think part of the issue for, in particular, the New York City region and the Ghanaian community that's here, we were the epicenter of the COVID-19 pandemic for a period of time in April and May. So our economy is lagging behind in terms of a local recovery. Our unemployment rate is twice that of the national average. So that's impacting all of New Yorkers, all Brooklynites, and in particular also those in the Ghanaian immigrant community. However, I will say that, notwithstanding a new shutdown, and we're talking about a spike in cases recently, but if we can get past this spike, the economy had been rebounding and people have been getting back to work, including many Ghanaians who, by the way, own businesses and they employ other people as well. So I think that will get back on track. I hope and pray it will get back on track. I hope we won't have another wholesale shutdown. And I think you'll see those remittances pick up again in 2021.
Larry, Jerry, we're so grateful that you joined us. And of course, congratulations to both of you. I believe you did win the COVID-19 Heroes Award recently by the Borough Chamber. We're so grateful and we send our congratulatory messages. But away from the US, let's now move to the World Bank because the country director for Ghana, Pierre-Frank Laporte, has ruled out assertions that Ghana is flipping into the debt districts category. Despite its current challenges, there are fears that the nation could soon be classified as a high-risk debt districts country over its rising debt stock. This is more of a warning to investors that Ghana may struggle in repaying its debt on time. But speaking earlier on the business edition of PM Express, Mr. Laporte said the government is taking steps to prevent the country from falling into that league.
There are risks, but I don't think so. Personally. Why? Because on the one hand, again, if you look at the structure of your debt, a large proportion of Ghana's debt is to multilaterals like World Bank, IMF, the bilaterals, EU, UK, etc. And these are generally long-term debt, okay? And long-term debt are cheap. You pay over a long time, interests are very low, so the risk is minimized. Secondly, Ghana's another important share of Ghana's debt is through the financial market. Again, financial market varies over time, depending on factors, well, exogenous and endogenous, no? But until COVID came, the market was quite liquid, and it's all to do with the perception of the country. There's always money out there, but to the extent that investors feel that this is a country that is going on the right track, they will always either buy your debt instruments or roll over existing debt. Actually, one of the risks for Ghana now is with COVID and the financial market being unstable. It is a risk. But I personally believe once things are normalized, things will be better for Ghana. But a critical point is, again, going back to macroeconomic stability. It's fundamental. The first thing you do when you do a strategy or whatever, if I was doing one, is to make sure that you have macroeconomic stability. Because when you have macroeconomic stability, you don't only protect yourself in terms of overspending and maintaining your debt at good levels, your deficit at reasonable levels. It allows you to maintain your debt low.
Now, entrepreneurs the world over are exploring new avenues of trade and investment as we commemorate Global Entrepreneurs Week. We do know the challenges faced by entrepreneurs in Ghana, and to have a better appreciation of developments in the Forbes Africa's 30 under 30 entrepreneur, Sean Henry Drake. He joins us via Zoom for this discussion. Grateful that you joined us, Sean. First of all, it's Global Entrepreneurs Week, and what in your view are the outstanding challenges bedeviling entrepreneurship world over, not just Ghana?
Thank you for having me. Yes, so as we celebrate Global Entrepreneurship Week, we had the opportunity of meeting some of Accra, Ghana's most vibrant and innovative entrepreneurs. And, some of the challenges that, they face are challenges to do with, capital. We spoke about investor capital, being able to attract, foreign direct investment into the continent. Capital is also a problem that we face in other, parts of the world. Beyond that, they are finding ways to innovate around that. So we had the opportunity to meet entrepreneurs, an entrepreneur called Caveman, Caveman Watches, who is the only luxury brand watchmaker here in Accra, who is now looking to take the brand globally. We had the opportunity to meet an entrepreneur who is now who's now created a gas supply business that has cylinders that send you a text message when your cylinder is running out. They are coming up with innovative ways to allow their business to thrive irrespective of the challenges that we face globally with regards to the capital market. So I think that Global Entrepreneurship Week is really an opportunity to celebrate that type of innovation. And I believe that these are the leaders of tomorrow. These are the billionaires of tomorrow. And it also happens that we have launched a publication with the same name to guide and help them through the various challenges that we all face as a global entrepreneurial community.
It's interesting you mentioned the lack of capital, and it's also somewhat disturbing because if you're looking at developing countries and the programs and interventions that respective governments have injected into entrepreneurship, one begs the question, is it a matter of a lack of political will, of which arguably there indeed is political will, or it's just a matter of the personal drive not being driven enough by proactivity?
Very, 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 very good question. It's funny enough, we, on Thursday, we met up with Juan Kelemene, who is the, I'm sure you know, Secretary General of the African Continental Free Trade Area. And we spoke to him about, you know, we gave him some of the questions that some of the entrepreneurs here and globally have been asking. And we spoke to him about entrepreneurship. And his view is that this is the very engine that will drive this agreement that's been signed by the AU. You know, entrepreneurs contribute to 60% of economic growth, and it's about creating an enabling environment, and something like such a Pan-African agreement like that is certainly going to open up many opportunities for entrepreneurs. So I think it's a two-way street. Yes, you need to have the entrepreneurial drive, speaking to entrepreneurs, and like we've already mentioned, and also speaking to, you know, the Secretary General Juan Kelemene right here in Accra, you know, he working together and him recognizing that entrepreneurship spirit is what is going to bring this thing to light, or else it's just going to be a very nice policy that would not actually have an impact on economic growth. And today, this afternoon at 4 p.m., we will be meeting Ken Oforiatta himself, and again, asking him the type of questions, the type of policies that are important to allow entrepreneurs to succeed, not only in Accra, Ghana, but also across the continent. So it'll be a very interesting conversation with him in a couple of hours from now. And we will. I mean, you could catch the story on Billionaires Tomorrow, which is the publication we launched a few days ago here in Accra.
Sean, in just a minute, you are the Forbes Africa 30 Under 30 entrepreneur. If you could give us the juices in terms of the secrets of hitting that global ceiling.
Yes. So, you know, there's no magic skill. There's no one specific secret, but it comes down to, for me, being willing to both work hard, but also work smart. I think there is a lot of talk about, you know, just drive hard work, but you also have to really work smart as an entrepreneur and how you position yourself. And the one thing I'll say is having a clear-cut vision that propels you forward all the time is what's going to allow, you know, one to navigate through not just the challenges we face in Accra, but, you know, across the continent.
Okay.
So that's you know, some of the things that have inspired me and led me along the way.
Work hard, work smart. Many thanks, Sean Drake, Forbes Africa 30 Under 30 entrepreneur, helping us have a whole glimpse about entrepreneurship in Ghana and across the world as we celebrate this week for entrepreneurs world over. Away from that, Auto Plaza Limited, an authorized partner of Hyundai vehicles in Ghana, has introduced the all-new 2021 Hyundai Creta Deluxe Edition, the 5-seater SUV, onto the Ghanaian market. Now, the vehicle, which represents new thinking and new possibilities, is manifested in its design. There is more in this report.
Two all-new 2021 Hyundai Creta Deluxe Edition 5-seater SUV and Hyundai Grand i10 GL sedan have been launched and introduced onto the Ghanaian market by Auto Plaza Limited. The Creta SUV has unique features, which includes a 6-speed automatic transmission with a smart key engine, push start and stop button. CEO of Auto Plaza, Jihad Hijazi, has been telling us more.
So this is a new generation 1.5 liter engine. 1.5 liter. So the previous generation, the first generation of Creta, was fitted with a 1.6 liter engine. This is a 1.5 liter engine, which is actually more powerful, and it consumes less fuel once again.
Beautiful. That is great. And it was actually very quiet when I started.
Exactly.
Very, very quiet.
Even though, despite being indoors, you could barely hear the engine when you started.
Exactly.
And once again, I mean, this is all going back to what they call NVH.
I would love to travel if I have a car like this. How much can I pack in the back?
Shall we see?
Let's take a look. Yeah.
Also, the Hyundai Grand i10 GL sedan comes with exceptional features like power steering with tilt function, keyless entry, and central door locking system, amongst a host of other incredible features. Hijat Hijazi says the Grand i10 GL sedan is a unique vehicle at reasonable cost.
So once again, this is an entry-level vehicle.
Yeah.
The Grand i10 comes in two configurations. It comes in a sedan version like we've seen today. It also comes in a hatchback version.
Oh, that's it now.
And the hatchback version comes in also in a 1.2. However, we have the choice of a 1-liter 3-cylinder engine, which is even more fuel efficient than this one.
Super duper.
Okay, so in terms of the price, we were able to get Hyundai, and Hyundai has done a fantastic job to build a much better vehicle for a slight increase from its previous generation.
The previous generation.
Okay, so this is the second generation Grand i10, anywhere around high 12s, so it's around 12,900, and can go all the way up to about 15,000 or so in terms of the highest of the options for the bigger vehicles.
So depending on which option you're looking at, say $12,900 up to $15,000?
Yes.
Just that?
Just that.
Auto Plaza Limited since 2004 has grown into one of the largest, most diversified and professional vehicle distributors in Ghana. And the 2021 Hyundai Creta SUV and Grand i10 GL sedan models are currently available at the company's showroom for Ghanaian consumers to purchase. Nicholas Brown's report for Joy Business.
Let's stay on the automobile industry because Nissan has announced it will commence assembling of its vehicles from the third quarter of next year. Now, this was after it formally settled on Japan Motors as its local partner to assemble these vehicles. The managing director, Salem Kalmoni, has been speaking to Joy Business about this deal.
I've got it. It wasn't expected. It wasn't automatic. Two other companies wanted to have the appointment as assembler in Ghana. And Japan Motors was the third. And there was due diligence. They came, they visited us, they looked at our financials, they looked at our history, and as you know, Japan Motors had a long history. And after that, Nissan decided that no, the appointment will be to Japan Motors, yes.
So what are you going to bring onto the table? I mean, we know you as a distributing outlet. Yes. Now you're moving into assembling. Do you have the expertise to do this?
Oh, that's a good question. And if you were there yesterday, okay, we've done it before. We were assembling vehicles, Nissan vehicles, from 1968 all the way to, I think, 79, 80 when we stopped. So we were assembling vehicles. We have the, yes, we know what it takes. And what we're bringing in is the facilities, a great location, which is in Tema. You need to be very close to the port because you're getting containers. And number two, it's good that when you assemble, you also have, you're very good. You have the distribution network, the branches in the country. So this is what we're bringing in.
One would ask that all other things being equal, what period are you hoping to start the process in assembling? And
well, this depends on Nissan, collaboration with them. We have started, let's say, our plan is to start the process. Right now we've started with civil works. We've identified the place and started the civil works. By the time we finish with the civil works, procure the equipment, you know, the assembly equipment and testing equipment.
Well, that's how we end Marketplace for today and for this week. We're so grateful that you've kept us company. I'm Charles Isaac.